Good morning. Today is May 16th. It is Saturday. It is like the first actual summer-like day. Last week, as we recall, I was getting snowed on, and we're still in the Vigilance area. I opted to change my plans about going to Vermont for a couple of reasons. We'll get into that later. But the plan for today, we're going to do a kind of just a general survey of the area, have a look around. Summer is definitely taking hold, though, because the amount of vegetation on the forest floor is triple what it was last week. Bugs are out again, so we're going to do that, and we'll see where we go. Maybe we'll see that moose from last week, if nothing else. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, and we'll get moving. Thanks. back. We're on the back side of the main mountain in the Vigilance area today, having a look around. Basically, this area is a lot of leaf litter. I can show you real quick. Pretty much this is what you're looking at. But we're going to have a look. So far, there's been signs of increased wildlife activity, if nothing else. I've seen a red fox and heard turkeys off in the distance, so there is wildlife about. Still on the look for the moose. His sign is about. And so as for not going to Vermont today, one, they're still a little sensitive to outsiders. Now, I could have probably gotten in very early, gone right to the trailhead, because my car is pretty good on mileage, and I would have been able to get in, do a hike without anyone there early in the morning, and then got out. But it's still kind of gnawed on my conscience a little bit, so I decided we're going to put that off for a bit. Week or two anyway. There were still some things in here I wanted to follow up on too, so as of right now, I feel also in the past I've neglected the Vigilance area in favor of the Five Bogs. Now there's more activity up there as of last year, but you say that on the assumption of the basis that you're up there more and not down here. So there has been signs of activity here in the past, just not this time of year. But that's being said without my being here a lot during the course of a lot of the time. So we're going to try this year, due to the whole weird times that we're living in, to get sort of a split between the two. I still want to spend some time up there and more triangulate where the three I've been tracking are this year, but I do want to look for sign down here because there's enough room for them to hide down here. They just, usually it's a winter affair where it's mild down here and colder up to the north. But beyond that, what's going on in Bigfootery today? Really not a lot. Let me think. There's all the usual podcasts and all that stuff, and the campfire story ones. You've got the, the West Germer ones where they're telling campfire stories basically, and got a couple of other ones. The Bluff Creek Project started one. I've had trouble listening to it because it basically just comes off sounding, if I can give some constructive criticism, like it's all about them. And there's a whole lot more going on. I might get flack for saying this, but there's a whole lot more going on in the subject than just the historical aspect of the PGF and all that at Bluff Creek. I mean, that's where they live, I get that, but other things are going on too. Maybe you get a guest from somewhere else. Share some information from another part of the country too, just to mix it up. Anyway, this is proving to be kind of a less than ideal area to look for sign. So we're going to start moving back up the mountain and look for sign, look for the moose, and all that good stuff. So we're going to start heading back up, and we're going to take a break for this segment. Thank you. All right, we're back. There's a nice X for the structure, folks. So we have made our way back up. We're about on the top of the ridge line right now. And what's going on in the Bigfoot community. I kind of touched upon something last week. The unflushable turd theory, which is you got those things that keep coming back around. And this week it was the Todd Standing Muppet Show. And there's a few people out there, I'm not going to give them press time, but they have a devotion to the guy that I'm not going to pretend to understand. But they do, and they keep his little cult following alive, and then it doesn't help that Meldrum went out with him once or twice, along with Les Stroud, aka Survivor Man. But I don't really see where this does anything to lend him any credibility. Damn it. But there's that one. I think I probably touched on this. It's semi-redundant, but the Muppet Show, the thing about the Todd Standing Muppet Show is it's been proven through some background, I think it was Steve Culls who did this, that he is intimately in business either by wife or by sister, I forget which, but they run a CGI special effects company. And the Bigfoots that he shows look like CGI, so you know, that's good enough for me, that the guy, and if you break it down, it's his face. There have been a number of video breakdowns where it pretty much shows this. The bugs out here become miserable at this point. Little gnat-like things. They don't bite, but they want to land on your eye, which is not really much better. Then you have, again, the claws photo, which kind of, it rears its head every now and then, but not with the same veracity some other things. That one kind of died in court. And then you have the Jacobs bear, and that one persists because there are those within the BFRO who, for whatever reason, have a vested interest in having you think it's a bear. It isn't. I mean, it's not a bear, that's Bigfoot. That happens to be lounging around with a bunch of freaking bears at a bear feeding station in the forest of Pennsylvania. I would argue that's not the most likely explanation. And then you have the massacre theory. That's gotten enough airtime lately. And you have those that believe in MK Davis for whatever reason. Other than that, there was a poll on the Bigfoot forums that asked the question, what is Bigfoot? The options in the poll were, relic hominid, Gigantopithecus, and of course, the forest people. So by relic hominid, what we're talking about are earlier forms of man, Neanderthal, Homo erectus, Homo hybrigensis, I believe it's called. Or an offshoot thereof. The forest people predicates the theory that they're human, just feral, which I don't really see a lot of difference between that and the relic human, because human at that point is, you're delving into some fairly you're picking hairs, you're splitting hairs at that point for me. But, and then I guess you could delve into the whole woo side of things with the interdimensional stuff. But for me, that gets a hard and fast prove it. But other than that, my vote would be somewhere in the relic hominid realm, probably Hybrigensis, or an offshoot thereof, just because of the larger size attributed to that particular strain of people, of Stone Agers. So, just a little thought on that. The one painful thing in that poll for me is the persistence of the giganto theory, because it's the least likely thing. You're talking, what little we know about it, it's basically a giant orangutan derivative, mostly herbivore and living in a tropical environment. Why would it suddenly pack up its roots and move into the tundra and across a major land bridge where it would be, if not predated on, outcompeted by the things that were already there and better suited to the environment? It just makes no sense. When Meldrum put that out there a while back, and it was defended, freaking gnats, really. I'm surrounded by them. When they postulated this theory, it basically made no sense, because it's a round peg to a square hole. That's my thoughts on that. If you want to comment down in the comments for this and throw your own thoughts on that, feel free. I'm going to wrap this segment up at this point and start making my way down the other side of the slope, and we will